Hey, how's everybody doing out there? This is Jake Salazar with I'm from Denver. We are here with Jeff Suskin today. This is the mastermind behind Top Taco, the much loved taco festival in Denver that brings foodies and fiesta enthusiasts together for a celebration of all things taco. Jeff is a culinary curator and event guru with a knack for creating vibrant, mouth-watering experiences. Top Taco isn't just any food festival. It's an adventure where local chefs compete to serve up the most tantalizing tacos, all while attendees savor craft cocktails, enjoy live music, and bask in the festive atmosphere. And obviously, it's not just Top Taco. It's all dining, everything Dining Out Magazine, and you've got multiple food festivals. So Jeff, thanks so much for coming on the show today. How's everything?
Hey Jake, everything's great. Thanks for having me on.
Man, so excited to have you here. So, I mean, Top Taco obviously is upon us. Rare has already happened. And for those of you viewers that don't know about these things, Dining Out Magazine's been around forever. Jeff's been around forever. He's been involved in multiple businesses. He's been involved. When I say forever, not like he's old. Like he's been like involved in that particular business community for a long time. So restaurants, obviously, Dining Out Magazine. I was actually just up in Boulder the other day and having lunch at a taco spot that you were apparently a part owner of at some point. Pretty good. Um, but he's got you've got Rare, you've got Top Taco, you've got Chicken Fight, and then multiple other festivals for cocktails and those things. But tell us a little bit about Top Taco and kind of how you got started in that.
We were doing Dining Out Magazine since 1998. And we were helping, like, we expanded Dining Out Magazine, and we were helping when South Beach Food and Wine launched. We helped with that quite a bit.
Sure.
Denver Food and Wine, we were helping with that quite a bit, and various food and wine festivals and things like that. And we would always show up, and they would be daytime events, and just as it got fun, like around 5 o'clock, it always seemed like it would end, and everybody would be talking about the after party. Oh, we're going to the Hotel Jerome for blah blah blah, or we're going to this hotel for this after party. And we were always like, it seemed to us like we would do it differently. Like, why wouldn't we combine what everybody wanted, which is like the after party with the culinary event?
After the
So we're
party,
like,
the hotel lobby, and it's all one event. You don't have to worry. Just one ticket.
yeah,
It's the whole experience.
and putting no effort into the after party. So we were like, this is the party. So our ideas were like to combine the two and make it a nighttime event. We added this sort of championship series to it, like with the people's choice votes and the judging and things like
Sure.
that. And we launched. So the first one we did was around 20. This is 2012, 2013, and we were like, and taquerias were popping up all over Denver. And
Yeah.
we were able to see that just because we were writing articles about various things for dining out. So we're like, okay, let's start with tacos, but let's make it, even though it's tacos, instead of doing like a daytime sort of, drunk fest in the heat, let's
Hmm.
make it an evening event that's like in our own way, trying to make it a little bit more like glamorous, the place to be seen, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. Because those
Yeah.
are the events we were working on.
Yeah.
And so we threw the first event, and I can't say we knew what we were doing. And I think it was like 3 weeks out from the event, we'd sold, I think, I don't know, 200 or 300 tickets. And I was like, this is crazy. We're going to lose our shirts. And it was scary. It was super scary. So, like,
But
with
I
people,
mean, was the first one like, was it pretty successful, or was it like a learning experience and then like let's do it again? I mean, I imagine every year is kind of a little bit of a learning experience.
I
But
think there's
it
a shirt that says "Friends don't let friends make festivals."
yeah.
So it was. I mean, if somebody were to say to me, like, I don't believe in God, I would just be like, you haven't been scared enough. Because, like, it's like sitting there just like, holy cow, like, we're going to lose our shirts. We were so far in the hole.
Yeah.
200 tickets sold a few weeks out from the event taking place. And I was like, the urge was to run away. I'll just
Sure.
disappear for 3 months. We'll cancel the event. Nobody will remember it. We stuck around, and then it was crazy. Like, I think like 2,000 plus people showed up, and it was
Wow.
a really, really great
Where was
night
that original one at?
at the park, which
What's
is
that?
expensive. So that added to the whole, stress of it all, because it's like right downtown. It's at Sculpture Park, and Sculpture Park isn't an inexpensive place to do an event.
Sure, right. Well, you still have a very amazing event that you host there with Rare, right?
Yeah. We the relationship with the city's been long standing now. It's been great.
Sure.
Um, and yeah, and it pulled it off. And then the next year it was like a hurricane, and that was super scary. And somehow it stopped, and as they're about to cancel the event, the
Yeah.
sun came up. So that was
Dude,
like,
I feel like that's like Rare for the last 2 years. It's
no,
like, dude,
no.
God loves your events, man. It's like, yeah, we're
Well,
gonna rain, and then we're gonna part it, and everybody's gonna have a great night, and it's gonna be awesome.
it's
It's not
really
gonna be
great for
too
you to
hot.
say it that way, because sometimes I feel really cursed, because I'm like, oh my God, here comes the storm. Every year we have to evacuate, and so that's kind of a scary deal. So, I mean, if you're going to do outdoor events, you're pretty much in the weather gambling business. So,
I definitely understand that coming from the marijuana business. I used to host those big 420 festivals. The difference
yeah,
is with you, it's rain. At that time of year, it's snow that you got to
yeah,
watch out for. So those
yeah,
like
that's
it's
good.
hit or miss. It's either really nice
Mhm.
or it's snowing. So I
So
definitely
we
get
did
it.
that event Chicken Fight, and we did that Memorial Day weekend, and this is a few years ago now,
Yeah.
and it was snowing Memorial Day weekend. But we have to bring in, almost 100 fryers from Las Vegas. So it's
Hmm.
a tractor trailer, and it has to come over Vail Pass.
Oh no.
And there's no event without the fryers. Like, we're
Right.
done. Fryers don't show up. It's not like, oh, we can go get 100 fryers in Denver. There's not 6 to rent here. So we bring in an entire tractor trailer, and I was literally sitting there staring at CDOT, the cameras over Vail Pass.
Yeah, and you're like, they're not gonna make it.
Cars on the road. It was terrible.
Like, we're
And
gonna need you got to do like that scene out of Swordfish where the helicopter picks up the bus and like like flies it. Like, all right, man, where are you at on I-70, man? We're coming to get you.
yeah, it was scary. We got here, and the snow kept coming too. So that was an interesting year. But I mean, yeah, if you do this event or you do events outside long enough, weather's a thing, and
Sure.
it's like every time. I mean, we do events now in Houston, and like the week after our event this year was the hurricanes,
Hmm.
and I
Yeah,
mean,
lucky you missed that deal.
what's that?
You're lucky you missed that. That was a pretty devastating hurricane that came through there.
It was.
How do you see that the progression of Top Taco, because it started in Sculpture Park, but now it's in Westminster, correct? And uh, the size and the scope of this event it's monstrous now. So when the first time you said it was 2,000, recollection to me is now it's what 8,500 people come to this
No,
thing
no,
every year.
no. We can't. Like, we have so it's
How many?
grown
Yeah,
a
how many people come
lot.
every year now?
I would say that we kind of cap it, and I'm not even talking about the employees and things, because that's like there's almost 1,000 people that are working on Top Taco, all the
Mhm.
restaurants, bars, security,
I'm one
front
of
gate,
them.
press, you name it. Yeah, like there's like almost 1,000 people that are actually working inside of the event, on
Yeah.
top of the other 6,000 people. So there's probably 7,000 people in the park.
Okay,
And
7,000. Wow.
yeah, and so I mean, it's a little bit of the double-edged sword of what we do, because if I can say the only thing that we've done, it wasn't like we had this incredible vision for what Top Taco was going to be. It just sort of ran, and
Yeah.
organically it's grown into this.
Yeah.
But the other side of that coin is it's almost like apartment shopping with a Great Dane. It's like there's not, like, where do you put it? So we
Yeah,
grew it, then
right?
we were able to move. Yeah, we moved out of the Aurora campus, but then they like tore up, like, that whole area now is like
Yeah,
basically
yeah,
fields and stuff like
I mean, yeah, there's only
that.
so many places big enough to host a venue like that and nice enough to
Not
host a venue like that at the same time, right? Because it's a it's a it's a nice event. I mean, there's
yeah.
really nice restaurants there. A lot the vendors are very nice. I mean, the sponsors that you have are top notch.
Hmm.
The VIP area is just, I mean, it's on point every year. The
Yeah.
food obviously is amazing. The cocktails are equally as incredible. But to me, not having been there at the first one, but having been there for the last five, I've seen at least a progression, especially from the Stanley Marketplace to the two different venues you've used in Westminster now. Um,
We've
and
had to
what
do
I
everything
see,
with it.
what's that?
In terms of like the progression, is it just, it was hard there for a while just because like finding homes for it was hard. So like there
Well,
was
it's
no,
finding homes, but it's also like liquor licensing and all that stuff. And it's, I mean, it's like you got to. There's a whole
yeah,
behind the scenes
oh,
preparation that
crazy.
goes into that. Trash removal, like
So
all the, yeah,
it takes an entire team a whole year to put the event together at this point.
yeah,
And it's, I have people come from like who work at say AG or somewhere like they're like, oh God, this is like an event we would be doing. And so then I'm an individual. There's a ton of liability on it.
yeah,
So there's, and so there's, the guest safety. So we have massive security teams and on staff, like on duty police officers, everything that you can imagine that
yeah,
goes into making sure it's a good experience for everyone.
yeah,
Um, but the biggest part of it there was like finding homes for it. So we were able to go to Aurora and and they were terrific to us at the Stanley. And then we outgrew that space. So
hmm
then it was like, well, what do we do? Years ago, though, we were looking for this space for a really interesting event we did called the Wedding Party, which is an entire other discussion. And the city of Westminster stepped up and was like, bring it to us. We're going to help you. We're going to really partner with you on this. And it was so much fun working with the city of Westminster on this event.
that's
And
so
when
cool.
we outgrew Stanley, like we couldn't, there was one bridge that goes into Stanley,
Yeah.
the field. So getting hundreds of vendors on and off the field was like, it was crazy. It was
I'm
turning
sure.
into, it was
Well,
turning into a,
you're like the shepherd of it all. Like it's funny because like watching you, it's like I mean for like the days leading up there, like you're literally you are in every place all at once all the time. Like and if it's not you, it's one of your team leaders. And then like
Mhm.
while the event is going on, it's like everybody wants your attention, and it's so amazing how you somehow find a way to give people attention and
I
and keep and
try
kind
on
of keep
rare.
moving around.
Top Taco can get interesting just because it kind of wobbles. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But like, so the thing is once it hits around 2 or 3 o'clock, it's kind of, you know what I mean? It's almost like a horse that I can't control. So it's like we keep everything as organized as possible till about 3 o'clock, and then it's like this mat. It'd be a great reality show. Like we have 72 hours to set up this, essentially 250,000 square foot city.
Yeah.
You know, that's going
Well,
to
I know
last.
somebody that can film
Wow.
that for you.
What's that? Yeah. So the thing is kind of, and we have to sprint into the space and create everything,
Sure.
And the
Yeah.
vendors, everybody's terrific about. Everyone's got their jobs to do, so it takes like all this organization, and then you kind of lose control a little bit of the reins on this like bucking bronco, and then it's just a matter of everyone doing their job and getting set and things like that till doors open. And like I said, it's kind of one of
Well,
those things
that's
that
the
it
cool
takes
part
off.
too, though, because the doors open like three times, right?
Yes.
And each time it's pandemonium. So that first time, everybody's there, but I didn't realize how many people were really attending. This is one thing to say, thousands of people, and then it's a whole other thing to literally stand in front of a stampede, and it's
Well, the
like so.
difference, you're right about that. So the interesting thing is we've had new vendors come work with us, security, trash, and they're like, we've worked on massive festivals. We've done
Yeah,
blah 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 festival with 30,000 people, and we've done this one with 20,000 people. I was like, this is different. I promise you, it's different because at those events, the doors open, there's opening acts, people trickle in, and at
yeah,
ours, it's like
boom.
Bob Marley
yeah,
goes on stage at the same time as the doors open. So
yeah.
frantic, and people who don't, we've gotten smart about this, but we've had vendors just get run over. They've just been like, whoa, this is different, you know?
Well, when he says
So
run over, like they just come in and they're like, it's like the scene. If you guys are all moviegoers out there, like I am, if you guys have ever seen the movie Weird Science, and all of a sudden the knock on the door, and there's like
party.
1,000 kids out there, and they're like party. People start queuing up for this thing at like 3:30, right? It opens up at like 5, right? And so they're
Top Taco opens up at 6, and
it's
they
6.
start doing up at 5. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I mean, for like an hour, you watch this, and it's the VIP crew. So like only at different times, depending on the ticket you bought, you get to come in. So like the first ones that get to come in are the VIPs, and they get kind of first whack at all the stuff without kind of a huge crowd. But even that crowd is decent size, and so those people are queued up, ready to go, and they kind of have these gates there, and it's great because we film it for you, and so we're standing there at the front gate, which is so much fun. And I didn't like last year was like, oh my god, this is awesome. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, they were
It's
standing there,
cool.
and the
It's a pretty
second
cool
they
show.
make a big deal out of it, there's a big countdown, and they literally open up the gates, like opening the floodgates, and these people are like, they got their plates, they got their cups, and they're like, they know, they have an idea of like kind of where they're going, and you just watch these people start making beelines for like their favorite places, and then you can kind of watch them all, like how they move around, and then as these people come in, boom, like that next group starts queuing up in the same place, and you're like,
Yeah. It
oh
is pretty
man, like
cool. It's really
this is
fun
a
to do.
thing. It's awesome to watch.
There's 3 huge stages, and they all start at the same time. And it's wild as it queues up and when it gets started. And it's cool. Like, I mean, I guess that's why we keep doing it, is for like that moment, like where you do
That
all
is
that,
the moment.
and all of a sudden it just hits.
Yeah.
And that's always like really, really exciting for my
Well, that's what I
staff.
always tell those people that get there that early too. I'm like, man, you walking in. I see you walking, but you're limping out. You're limping out, and not in a bad way. Like they are full. They have had like I don't even know how many tacos. Like, they are
We've got some
full.
fun stuff this
They've
year.
been dancing, right? They've had their fair share of tequila drinks at that point. Like the cool thing too is I don't see people driving. I see like the Uber lines at the end are just like, everybody's got their Ubers and or their drivers or whatever. So that's great. But yeah, people are satisfied walking out. Like that's like I see the couples like kind of dangling on each other, like, and you're like, all
There's so
right,
much
this is
food
good.
though, and things like that, and there's
Oh
so much
yeah,
stuff to do that it's not like anyone parks it and is like,
oh yeah,
and we also by design, the event is short.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like in that way, it's like people come in and they have a blast, but it's not like all day. It's not in the hot sun. There's so much food and all the rest of it. So like, fortunately, knock on wood, people really behave. And we also really stress that
Yeah.
everything leading up to it. It's just like,
Oh yeah.
you're here to have fun, like have a blast. Like
Yeah.
there's no need to like get aggro or anything. And the people, I think Top Talkers just like really have a good time,
Well, I,
and
I couldn't agree more. It definitely is but the thing is like it's perfect timing, right? Because you come in, the people start getting full up and everything, and then they can start. There's like a full on dance party that goes on throughout the night, right? No matter where you are, there's a stage of music happening, or there's a cool DJ booth happening. So
we've
the
got some
dancing
great stuff
starts.
this year. There's a 15-piece mariachi band that comes in, and we've got a group of cayoba on one side. And if you've never listened to cumbia music, it's so fun.
Yeah,
It's really, really rhythmic and fun to dance to. We've got on the other side, there's 2 bands, but the headline is Metalachi, which you probably saw
I
last
love
year.
Metalachi, man. I
It
really
is,
enjoyed that last year. That was really
they
cool.
just played Tony Hawk's Party in January. So,
Yeah,
like,
that was dope, man. I was
they're amazing.
impressed by those guys. You told me about them, and it's cool because I've seen this. I've seen these events as a spectator, as a customer, like a paying customer. I've come in there and had a blast. Then I've seen it from the other side, where like we're there filming people, and we're working and making getting content, and it's even fun to do that there, right? Because you're like,
Mhm.
man, like
Oh,
the
people are
vibe is just
animated,
right. The
dressed up
vibe
like
is right
heroes.
at all times.
We did something fun this year. We're bringing in oh my god, what is it called? Let me just I'm going to screw up the name of it. Hold on one sec. It is called give me 1 second so I can look this up.
Well,
You're on
while
the
you're
phone.
looking that up, the other big thing that's there every year, and I imagine it's gonna be there, and this is my favorite thing to watch. I didn't grow up really enjoying pro wrestling when I was a
Oh, that's
kid.
fun.
Like I didn't watch like Hulk Hogan
Yeah,
and all that stuff. But you have those pro wrestlers come in there
they're
every
great.
year,
They're fun.
and
It's
that
really fun.
is really fun to watch. Like
Yeah.
a tequila drinker too, and you're standing there, like it's fun to watch. Like
They are
people
really
really get
talented.
into
They
it.
do a great job. And then
Yeah.
we've got the Dragomi. It's from the Club Zodiac House.
I do. Yeah. Uh-huh.
So they're doing the whole Dragomi, that huge art car, and
Yeah.
we've had like three different DJs doing like music from Tulum and Latin Afro music and things like that. So
Yeah.
we're pretty excited. So there's like all these big music. There's a lot. Like I said, then there's a whole the voting area, which is the goats, which is
Yeah.
the kind of the greatest of all tacos. So
Yeah.
like everywhere you go is very photographic.
Yeah.
Like there's things to take pictures with, and there's things to interact with and have fun with. Usually the hardest part for us is just getting people out at the end of the night. So,
Well, I would
but
tell you this, and I what I don't want to overlook, because we have mentioned it a few times while we've been talking, is the amount of people and your staff that it takes to pull this off, and the amazing staff that you have. And the one person, obviously, that we can't leave out of this conversation is your amazing wife, Shalisa, who unfortunately couldn't join us this morning. But I know Shalisa is a big reason why this thing stays so organized and is so successful.
yeah,
And so I want to make sure that we give her a major shout out. Obviously, the rest of your team, Cayenne, your marketing team, obviously your operations teams, they're great. I mean, they are so on point, and they have
they're
gotten so
organized, but
freaking good at the load ins and the load outs. So when you talk about people leaving, that's one thing, right? Getting the general public out, that's one thing. Then there's like the vendors and everything else. Like all of the stuff must leave.
yeah, we
Like this
got
field must be clear in 24 hours. Like that's
it's
amazing.
crazy. By 2 o'clock the next day, it's as if it didn't happen. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
I know.
But you're right about that. Ben and Shalisa on the operations side of it, Ben Nelson
Yeah.
and my wife Shalisa, like they are extremely organized. And then you have Gabby Reyes with all the restaurants, and Cayenne with all the sponsors. Jamie, who's doing all the traffic control. I mean, the list goes on.
But I
So
mean, the cool thing is like on game day, they all wear multiple hats, right? Because like during the year, each one of them has their own, thing. Like you said, like the one deals with sponsors, the other one deals with the restaurants. But on game day, they're all operations. Like they're in there, man. Like they got they got the sunscreen on, they got the microphones, they got
we
what do
have
you
food
need?
festival.
Where are we going? Like Jeff's out there with a bullhorn. No, I'm just kidding. He's really not.
If there's a bottleneck that occurs in our company, it's generally me. So I stick to manual labor during the event. So like I just kind of like help the restaurants load in and things like
Yeah.
that. But anything that has to do with like giving orders out on that field, I am definitely low man on the totem pole. That is that's by design,
Well, I will tell you, because like as somebody who's done this multiple times in multiple different venues and different events throughout the years, I really enjoy seeing that symphony of people and how that all comes together. I've seen it done multiple different ways. I've seen it be extremely unorganized, and I've seen what you do. And I think that, I think especially when you come from a well-oiled machine like your guys' is, that people tend to forget, like, man, man, there could be this could not be working this great, right? It's like as unorganized
Yeah,
chaos as it
it's
might feel like. I want
yeah.
to tell you, like, I have seen it where it's like, holy shit. Like, did anybody think of any of this stuff? Like, how are we like, how did these guys get a license to be here? And then there's you way over here on the other side of that spectrum, like super organized. Everybody has a really good idea of where they're going and how they're doing it. And I think that's how you pull it together so fast. And that's why it's so successful every year.
I mean, I've been responsible for some really big shit shows in the past. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
Lisa and Ben or anyone else who's on the team now would be like, we're just like, absolutely not. And so, you know what I mean? So they
Yeah.
have a very defined way, and they're constantly like, that didn't work, it needs fixing. This we didn't like, it needs fixing. So
Yeah.
they're always like reorienting us and like course correcting.
Yeah.
But to be clear, I mean, doing this for however many years, like, I mean, I've screwed it all up. I went to five, and we like were able to come back for another chance, and things like that. But man, I've had some. I mean, one year we had a gigantic festival, and I had like, this is all my fault. This isn't the team that we have now. This is like the second, third year. We got this massive crowd. I had like 3 people at the front gate. Literally, some people did not ever get into the event.
Oh
The
my
line,
God.
like the line, as far as I could see, the line went, and I'm
Right.
literally. I don't think we got people into the event. It was such a shit show, and
Yeah.
that was 10 years ago. But I mean,
Well, even now, like I mean, the way that you do it is great, but obviously there's security protocols with this kind of an event. There's
yeah,
a
they
lot of
they were
security
good.
there, and it is very safe, and people are definitely watching out. And this is the kind of community where people watch out for each other. I mean, Colorado is always pretty good about that kind of stuff. And so obviously, but here. I mean, if you've learned anything from this podcast, it's obviously these events are amazing, every one of them, from Rare, Top Taco, Chicken Fight, but get there early. Like
Yeah,
if you can, like make sure you're queued up, because you don't want to miss this stuff. These are like there's so much in there, that you have, and like you said, like they have to be responsible, right? So they're not going to have you there all night getting wasted.
yeah.
Like they are going to get you out of there at a reasonable hour, and then you can top off your night at somebody else's liquor license. but but,
Well,
but
it's like going to a fun sporting event. It's kind of like, you
yeah,
come in,
yeah,
you're like wanting more, and you're like, I
yeah,
want to, so it's never like it's time to go, that kind of thing. It's more
yeah.
like, uh, oh, we have to leave, and we want that sensation for people. It's frantic. It
Oh yeah,
is
yeah.
by
Well, it's good. I
design.
mean, it gets the blood going, man. Like people are having fun. People are dancing.
Tacos,
It's
nobody
it's
argues about
good.
tacos. And so like even if there's like everything that's going on in the world, when they come into Top Taco, like that everybody there loves
Yeah,
tacos, having
yeah, yeah.
fun, and that's so
Everybody
like
thought it was the Hawk Tuah girl. It's not. It's Top Taco, man. That's what brings people
yeah,
together. That's the.
we call it the Tao of Top Taco, and it's just like we ask people to like be the tortilla, keep things
So
together.
no, I love it.
Yeah.
So with all your experience and obviously everything that you've done for the community and all the neat things that you're doing, you did. I mean, through Dining Out Magazine though, like you did come up and you have owned some restaurants, right? And so like you said, like taquerias were popping up around town. It's my understanding that you were actually an owner of some of those, or part owner
Yeah,
of some of these
Tiaco up in
things.
Boulder, which
Yeah,
is an awesome restaurant. And then what was fantastic is the GM Peter,
yeah.
he after however many years it was time for him to take the reins, and it was a
I met
really
him the other day. Fantastic guy. Had nothing but great things to say about you, by the way.
He's the best, and we it
Yeah.
was time. It was time for it to be his restaurant, and like we couldn't be more excited for like how that worked out. It was great, and like it's everything that you'd ever want. It was time for yes, we invested in it, and yes, we helped develop it, and then he ran the show, and it just came to that time where it, it really was his. Like, I mean, energetically in every which way, and it worked out terrific. And he's a heck of an operator. He does a great job,
I love it, man.
and it's all his
So
100%.
I want to give our audience. I want I want you to dig down deep. What is the craziest story from Top Taco that you remember? Like I want like give me the good stuff.
The God, you should have prepared me for this one.
If I prepared you, it wouldn't be as much fun.
The I don't know if this is crazy and not this is more in a good way, but we got canceled for we had to cancel all of our events in 2020.
Yeah,
you know and then we didn't know when we could come back in 2021. They were just like social distancing and no more than 150 people can be in any spaces and all the rest of it.
right.
And when we got the phone call from the city, like that the all-star game was getting moved from Atlanta to Denver
Yeah,
and social distancing was done,
yeah.
and it was like that movie
Game
won't.
on. Game
It
on.
was the craziest week I've ever had, probably in event planning. Like I couldn't get the phone to my head fast enough, trying to get a team back together because we had to furlough everybody. It was the most bananas week
You were
of
like,
like,
news team
oh,
assemble.
it was crazy. So like in terms of my life in business, that might have been the most exciting, most interesting, most oh my god moment in like the phone rang and it was almost like in real time out of some like movie. Like the call comes in and it went ballistic. And it was like it was almost worth the whole bad stuff happening for that week.
For that to happen, right?
For that week to happen, it was madness. So
Well,
like
without
that
the bad,
to
we
me is
can't have the good, right? And
yeah.
that's the yin and the yang of life. So that's a great story, man. I mean, I can always count on you to have a proper good kind of story like that, a good feeling one too.
Yeah, but everybody like at the events are so like the people who come to the event are awesome. The sponsors and restaurants are awesome. So I'm like literally trying to think of like and I hope it stays that way where I'm not saying anything like, oh God, this one guy did that. Like it's always like a really fun day after.
Sure,
So
sure. No, I get it. So, going back and thinking about where you are now and looking back on your younger self, right, as you were getting into this business, what is the one thing you would tell the younger Jeff back? What's the thing that you would look back and be like look out for this or get ready for this? Like if you had to go back and tell yourself one thing, what would it be? You had a time machine right now.
but if I told myself stuff like I was ignorant enough to not know what I was getting into, like kind of
Yeah.
fell into it. Oh, I
Yeah.
can do this. And like if I would have known stuff, it probably would have like deterred me from doing it. You know what I mean? Because it's a crazy business. It is an
Well, I mean, but
absolute
ultimately, your older self would be pretty successful at this. You'd be like, "Listen, you're gonna do good if you do this, but like, here's the one thing to look out for."
I mean, I would say to anybody, like I would watch out. The only thing that's ever really almost brought me down,
Yeah,
like emotionally, financially, anything like that would
yeah.
be like choose partners very, very wisely. Fortunately, I have an awesome partner now. And, my wife also is fantastic at doing this, but also Josh Diner is the most supportive of everything I do. But I would say if you have a bad partner, man, that can take just decades off your life. And so I would
That's
watch that.
fantastic advice. I mean, I couldn't agree more. I've
Yeah.
had great ones and I've had horrible ones, so I definitely
Oh, it's
understand.
it's worth, I mean, I've heard of like bad marriages, but when it comes to business, I mean, just think
Oh my
about it. It's
God,
your livelihood, it's
yeah.
everything you do. And that type of stress, it's like it's just different. Money can make things like it can amplify things in a way that's the noise can get really, really loud. So
I
I would think of that.
agree wholeheartedly with that.
Very, very careful
Um,
partnerships.
well, hey man, I got I want to say I can't thank you enough for coming on the show. I can't thank you enough for obviously everything that you've done around here. Such great events that you guys do. Um, you know,
Well,
uh,
back at you. You guys give us so much help. It's so much fun having the I'm from Denver crew as part of all of our events. It's really turned into this uh, it's a really cool relationship. It's like I'm running stuff past you guys all the time. I
yeah,
love the content that you guys create. And, we create a lot of content too. I love the stuff that you guys make,
yeah.
you know?
Well,
So
we have a lot of fun with it, and it's great for us. We love being a part of helping you guys build it. Honestly, I've always been a fan of your work, so really for me, it's a lot of fun just working with you guys.
you got to come to
Um,
Houston next.
we've
I'm from Houston.
I'm happy to do it. Happy to do it. The but I just I want to say, you guys get out there if you guys are out there and if you haven't experienced these events, get some tickets immediately. They're still on sale. I think they still have some left. Hopefully,
Talk
if
with
you
that
have
soon.
been to these events, then you already know what we're talking about, and this is the guy behind it, and his team and his wife, amazing wife Shalisa. And we do not want to downplay how big of a role Shalisa plays in all this. It's a big role. And so thank you guys, and make sure if you haven't got tickets, you get your tickets. Rare, Top Taco, Chicken Fight, and
Oh,
what
Chicken
other
Fight
events you
at the end of
have?
the month
What's that?
at Elitch's. So
Yep.
we take over Elitch's, the amusement park, on August 29th that evening, and we run the entire Denver Fried Chicken Championships in Elitch's just for the festival. So it's
Oh yeah,
all the rides are open,
that's an
all the games
insane
are open.
time.
It's fun. It's
All the
really fun.
rides are open, by the way, guys. So
Yeah,
for those of you who have not been there, this is the best fried chicken, the best hot wings, the best chicken sandwiches,
lots of
and then
whiskey.
you got whiskey, you got beer, and you got all
Oh,
the
and
rides open.
4 stages of country, bluegrass, and blues music. It's really fun.
Colonel
So
Sanders himself lets you in the gate.
really funny, right?
I love that
Um,
guy.
I'll have to send you some of the videos that he's been working on.
I've
It's
seen
hilarious.
him. I've been watching him online.
It's really funny.
But hey, want to wrap it up, man. Jeff, thank you so much for coming out today. I know you're a busy
Yeah,
man. Thanks for sitting down with us.
I'll be seeing
And
you guys
kudos
next
to the
week.
team. Can't wait to see you guys out there.
Excellent. See you guys next week. Thank you so much for having me, and have a great day.